Richard Alec Murdaugh, if that is your name, please raise your right hand. Do you waive reading of the indictments?
Yes, sir.
What say you, Richard Alec Murdaugh? Are you guilty or not guilty of the felonies wherein you stand indicted?
Not guilty.
How shall you be tried?
By God and my country.
Breaking news just into the newsroom. Accused murderer Alec Murdaugh pleads not guilty to the murder charges he faces in connection to the death of his wife and son, Maggie and Paul. He's also been denied bond. Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here for News 2 Midday. I'm Hannah Powers.
And I'm Octavia Mitchell. We are bringing you the latest on what we know following the hearing that wrapped up less than a half hour ago. News 2's Amaris Jacobs is joining us live from outside Colleton County Courthouse. And Amaris, can you give us some background on the events leading up to today's hearing?
Well, Hannah and Octavia, good morning. I've been out here outside of the Colleton County Courthouse since about 4 o'clock this morning, and I can tell you since then all eyes remain here on the courthouse as both local and national media outlets swarm the entire front lawn here. Now take a look at this video on your screen of Alec Murdaugh arriving around 8:30 this morning as authorities escort him through the back of the courthouse. Now Alec Murdaugh's attorneys stand firm that he was a loving husband and father and had nothing to do with the murders of his wife Maggie and son Paul. However, many believe Murdaugh's story about the night of the murders did not add up from the very beginning. Murdaugh, a once high-powered attorney from Hampton County, claims he returned home from visiting his dying father on the night of June 7, 2021, finding his wife and son brutally shot to death. Take a listen to what attorneys had to say in this case. And we'll work to get more of that sound for you later on in the newscast. But right now, I want to send things over to News 2's Riley Benson. Riley, you were inside of the courtroom when all of these events happened, so I'll go ahead and send it over to you.
Yeah, good morning, Maris. Thank you. Two things we're looking at coming into this week: the request for a speedy trial and how Senator Harpootlian's schedule could impact any speedy trials. Now, we'll get to those. Today's hearing started with Alec Murdaugh coming in. Noticeably different appearance this time from the other times we've seen him in court. His head was shaved. He was not in a jumpsuit. He was actually in khaki pants and a nicer outfit. We were told that his attorneys had approval before today's hearing for him to be able to wear that in today's hearing. Now, today's hearing started in an interesting way with the old-fashioned arraignment, reading Alec Murdaugh his indictments, his rights, asking him for a plea. He pleads not guilty. Then Dick Harpootlian starts off by saying that they would consent to a denied bond. The state agrees with that. They go through a number of motions for a speedy trial, for a gag order, and for sealing future motions in this case before they go to a hearing, wanting to keep a lot of that evidence out of the public eye, away from the media. They don't want a jury to be swayed in this. So a number of things going through, but also a very quick trial, quick bond hearing relative to the one that we saw in Columbia last year on separate charges. And another thing that was interesting, I spoke with some other attorneys in the courtroom afterward. This might be one of the only times you'll see both the state and defense agree on something. So now let's talk about that speedy trial. The defense wants that to happen in either October or November. The state says January would be aggressive but more appropriate. We heard from the attorneys inside the courtroom. Here's what they had to say.
We'd like to go ahead and get this matter before the Colleton County jury as quickly as possible. Mr. Murdaugh does this for a number of reasons. One, as you've heard, he believes he's innocent. He avers he's innocent. And two, he believes that the killer or killers are still at large, and this would allow SLED to put this behind him and go look for the real killers.
Now again, both the state and the defense agreed to that bond being denied. That's what Judge Clifton Newman did. He denied the bond. He also says he'll issue a written decision on the three other motions that were asked by the state and the defense, again with that speedy trial, with a gag order on both sides and with the sealing of motions moving forward. Well, of course, we'll keep you updated, bringing you more sound through the morning, breaking down this morning's bond hearing for Alec Murdaugh, again in court for the first time in months. Is bond denied on these murder charges? For now, we'll send it back to you live in Colleton County. Riley Benson, count on 2.
Thank you, Riley, and we will check back in with him in about 30 minutes. But continuing our coverage now of Alec Murdaugh. Following today's bond hearing, the Supreme Court disbarred Murdaugh earlier this month, and while the move was expected, it came days before word got out that the former attorney would be charged with the 2021 murders of Maggie and Paul. Murdaugh's license was suspended in September of 2021 following his arrest for the botched assisted suicide attempt. Murdaugh did have the chance to defend himself and his license to practice law, but he waived that right, saying he did not contest the court's decision.